Hey Libra, it's Street Level Spirituality with Hangin with Libra, and it's the end of October, and I wanted to take some time to look at themes that are going on in Libran lives, moving from the end of October through November and December to the end of the year. There's a number of interesting things happening universally for everyone. We have Mercury retrograde coming up on Halloween. That lasts until about the third week in November. And then we have some really nice energy moving around kind of when that ends. And then again, we have a solar eclipse in December 20, end of December, 26th, 22nd, something like that. And then we have the big Pluto-Saturn conjunction in January of 2020, which is basically going to reveal secrets behind government and things of that sort. So we'll have some big shifting, socially and all that stuff. In the meantime, we have an ongoing transit of Uranus and Taurus. So those are sudden and abrupt changes in everything to do with Taurus, which is, they can be earth changes, financial markets, things of that sort. So those are all things kind of happening simultaneously. Now, on a personal level, we have, first and foremost, Mercury retrograde up until third week of November. Where this lands for you personally is really dependent upon your ascendant. So, for instance, most astrologers will say, oh, Libra, you're having this effect in Mercury retrograde, which actually I can look it up real quick, but it's not accurate because that's assuming that your ascendant is in Libra. Your sun sign's in Libra, but your ascendant's probably something else. So I don't want to pass on information that isn't really relevant to you. Oftentimes you'll read a zodiac, your astrology, your horoscope, and they're telling you all this stuff based on your sun sign being your ascendant sign, and it just leads you in this weird direction that's not even true. So let's look at, I'll look at the transits real quick and see, let's put it on Halloween. Anyway, so this is the video format for this is Hangin with Libra. It's basically, I mix astrology, I mix tarot, and kind of just make it a longer format just to like hang out and chill. It gives me an opportunity to kind of explore things I enjoy. And for people who like longer format videos without advertising on it, it's something you can put on the background and it's kind of chill too. So, Mercury. Okay, so Mercury is going retrograde at the very end of Scorpio, and it's going to review for a 3-week period everything to do with your communications and things of that sort. Now, if you know your ascendant, you can figure out kind of where it's going to be for you. So for me, for instance, I have a Cancer ascendant. So that's going to be in my 5th house. And my 5th house has to do with sexual passion, creativity, creative projects, things of that sort. So it would be a review of, how you communicate and express yourself in those areas. So it's good to kind of find out what your ascendant is, and then you'll know how it affects you in your life. Man, this cycle, we're like midway between 2 cycles of eclipses. So, hopefully your journey for this 6-month period has been good. In a few months at the end of December, we'll have another cycle. So this will be closing off. Another one will be opening. It's a really interesting time. There's just a lot of like energy and moving around. But what you do have for all Libran sun signs is you have Mars in Libra. So that's your passion and your drive. It can also be too much drive or too much passion. So you have to be mindful. I would say especially with you guys, because of Mercury retrograde and Mars being in your sign, this period between the end of October and the third week of November, to be very mindful when you're driving a car, for instance, rushing to do things. You're running behind on something. You're rushing a project. Sticky situations can come up with other people where you have to manage your temper and your emotions. And the best way to do that is, at least this is a trick I learned a long time ago with anything to do with astrological things, is you can tell when you're getting tricked or when you're getting kind of invited into a spider web simply because you can observe your emotional reaction to situations. If you find yourself being heated in a dynamic or a situation, you find yourself wanting to react and be reactionary and respond quickly to something, it's usually a time not to do so. It's a time to stop and really reevaluate the situation, understanding that oftentimes there's a better way to address a situation. So with Librans, you guys have this exceptional amount of drive right now because of Mars being in your chart, and with like I said, with Mercury retrograde, there can be a lot of snafus and miscommunications and things of that sort. So you'll have to watch your passions, so to say. Now that's the shadow side of it. On the good side, on the positive side, is that Mars gives you the energy you need to move forward with whatever endeavors you have. It gives you a lot of energy, gives you sexual passion, it gives you all the resources you need to have the confidence to move forward in a project or whatever you're doing, or just to move forward in your life in general. So that's the good side of it. Again, just be really mindful. Someone might send you an email that really, like, say, triggers you, and it's up to you to stop, look and listen and evaluate the situation from a point of view of your values instead of your emotions. So that's what's really important. So, and that's something I talk about a lot too, or that I really value or think it's important, is to understand the nature of character and how we find purpose and identity here in the world. Is, often in mainstream society, what we see is people find it through image or associating with certain cultures or groups or cliques or whatever you want to call it. And a better way to do that, or a more useful way to do it, is to develop character. And character is developed through identifying your value system and really being very clear about what those values are, and then living those every day. So that creates your character. That creates a sense of identity and purpose that is consistent. So instead of kind of walking around being reactionary to things and being fluid in kind of who we are and how we dress and how we speak and what groups we're spending time with and all that stuff, instead what you can do is you can take some quiet time to yourself, get a piece of paper, and write down things that you value, and really kind of try to hone those into, some core values. Maybe there's 2 or 3 that are your core values, and then maybe there's, 5 to 7 total that, are your extended values. So, for me, I consider myself an extremely compassionate person. I don't believe in killing other life forms in any level. So whether that's, for eating them, if I have a bug in my house, I'll put it in a jar and take it outside. Everyone's different. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. That's just one thing that I highly value, because I think it really affects, the quality of my life and the energetics from my life. So no matter what situation I'm in, I live that value, and that creates a consistent character that people can identify with and understand about me, and also gives me consistency in my life. So, other ones that I have are obviously nonviolence towards other people is another one. But truth is another one. I look at truth. I look at truth as something that is. Sorry, I'm getting a text from my son here. Something that is more important than seeking happiness is truth. And even though that often doesn't make me popular with other people, or sometimes having, diametric views with other people, again, it's a character. It builds character for me to live that value. no matter what it may be. So someone might say something and I might question it, and learning how to do that compassionately, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, the whole point is that if you write your values down and you live those values on a day-to-day basis, you remove yourself from the machine and this cyclical nature of kind of fighting with reality all the time, and you become less reactionary to things because you're functioning from an internal resource instead of constantly being pushed and pulled in the ebbs and flows of the information age, so to say. So anyway, just a little tip there if that helps, to really build that character, and it gives you a really rooted foundation in who you are on this planet, and you can function from a place that is kind of serving higher values, whatever that might be for you. So anyway, all that said about passion and kind of managing ourselves is, I found it interesting that you had Mars in your sign, because the card I pulled to just kind of get a tone on your reading, kind of see where you're at, is the Knight of Wands. And that's very much a fire card. It's associated with Sagittarius. It's associated with fire. It's associated with, moving forward with a project or an idea, being very passionate. But again, it's like the knight's on a horse, he's got fire on him, and it's like, you don't want that to be you while you're driving, especially during Mercury retrograde. So take the fire, take the passion, take this raw resource of energy, and make sure you channel it into something that is of value and not hurting someone else or hurting yourself in the process, I guess is really the point of what I'm trying to bring. So anyway, Libras, how are you guys doing? I'm a Virgo, but I'm a third decan Virgo, so I'm right at the very end, right next to Libra, and I have a lot of planets in Libra. And so I'm feeling you on a lot of levels. There's a lot of, at least the Librans in my life that I've seen, I've noticed a lot of changes, real big fundamental ego breakdowns, and kind of getting to the root of behaviors that maybe we use to keep up our sense of purpose or identity, but maybe aren't serving us anymore. We get to points where to move forward, we have to kind of relinquish something or give something away. And I think that with Librans, there's some of these really deep-rooted parts of themselves that just really aren't serving the purpose anymore. It's as if they worked for a long time. It's like some gimmick that works for a long time, and all of a sudden it just stops working. And then you're like, fuck, what am I going to do? Like, how do I continue to be attractive if I can't, uphold this image? How can I continue to be successful in other people's eyes if I can't uphold this image? And so it brings us back to the drawing board, where we have to kind of like look at it and say, okay, well, what are my values in these areas of my life? What does it truly mean to be, attractive or successful or whatever it might be? And how can I redefine in a modern context how I can be that in a manner that's healthy and honest and honoring everybody involved? So I would say that's, some of the stuff that's going to Libra right now. The good news is obviously you have all this fresh energy coming your way to make big changes. So that's great. It's a beautiful day. It's interesting. It's just getting, I don't know where you guys live, but where I'm at, it's just cooling down. It's been really hot. It cooled down a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, it was a heat wave, and then just last 3 days, like last night, I was cold, man. I had to get out the big blankets. I've been doing a lot of cleaning, so I found this beanie. I've been wearing this beanie. Keeps my bald head nice and warm. But yeah, interesting time overall. There's, we're going to have a 3-week period of, it's stay focused, about what your goals are and plans. You have everything you need to move forward with whatever this endeavor is. You just don't want to run over people on your way to the top, so to say. And with the Knight of Wands, it's still not quite the King of Wands. The King of Wands is somebody who knows how to be successful. They respect what it takes to build something, and they know how to include people in that process. So Knight of Wands, it's kind of like, you're starting to move forward in a process, and you're seeing that your efforts gaining, but you still haven't quite learned how to incorporate others into the process. You're just kind of right in the middle of that seeing what the value in that and how you do that. So anyway, so just don't run over anyone. We don't need any roadkill, so to say. I used my reusable cup today. Proud of myself. I've been kind of going through this thing where I'm 45. I just turned 44 last month, and it's interesting. I always consider myself kind of a really progressive person, but I'm just like going through and starting to be honest about areas of my life that I haven't been. So just doing little things, making sure my bag's in the car, making sure my reusable cups, and just learning to connect with where society is at today, and letting my energy refresh and be new and still be myself, but in a context that connects with other people. And so anyway, so now that we've yimmed and yammed a little bit about your astrology and I guess what I'm doing, this is Hanging with Libra. I wish it was a two-way, but what we can do is you can make comments if you have any questions, or if you want to chit chat with me, or even if you want to tell me about what's going on in your life. I always like the feedback. This is not my career. I don't put ads on this. I don't ask for money. I do readings if people want readings, but other than that, I have a whole other career. This is more of just, I have a Pisces full moon, and this is a way for me to explore more of my psychic nature and using some of these divination tools. It's just a part of who I am, and I'm just learning to honor it more. So that's why I do these videos. And I do Hangin' With because I live by myself, and sometimes I just like to put a video on without ads and listen to someone chit chat and while I go to sleep, or just kind of just talk astrology and tarot and life. So anyway, that's the format. Let's go ahead and break this up, and let's see how everything that we talked about before, how this connects with where your cards are at. So we're just going to take some time here to kind of look at what's going on. Recent past. Let's move those. Make the cards way too much on the right here. Let's move them over. No. Interesting. So it looks like, without going into your reading, that whatever it is, that whatever this passion is that you have right now, and your drive of moving forward, that ultimately it will come to fruition in a higher state than it is at this point. You will accomplish your goals, but interestingly, it's ending up on more of a feminine result. So whatever it is that you're creating, working on, it's going to be a mastery of the feminine nature in the world. It's the material representation of the more intuitive, nurturing, and caring type of energy out into the world, which is really cool. So it sounds like you might be getting in touch with something like learning to see the value of things by not having them, if that makes sense for some people. I can talk on multiple levels, multi-dimensions. So, as you're listening to this reading, just see what kind of tunes in with you, and kind of, there might be certain themes that are symbolic, things of that sort. So just kind of feel it out, Hangman in reverse. Oh shoot, here we go. Sorry, here we go. Let me just do this real quick here. Okay. So there's you've had a new idea, something very inspired that came out in the past, and it's a past inspiration. There's something from your past. There's something from when you were younger. There was another time in your life where you had an idea for something, and the time for that fruition, the time for that to start to take traction is happening now. The energy's forming to be able to fully realize that. It may be that you had a real soul calling to pursue something at a different time in your life, but maybe you weren't quite ready. So now it appears that the energies are forming. You've done the work, you've learned the lessons, you've done what you've needed to do to be prepared to actually manifest this vision. And it seems like you're well on your way. It may be something that you've already laid the groundwork in the past, and now you can take the groundwork that you've laid from the past and utilize that as a stepping stone. And that's why maybe we're in the Knight of Wands instead of the Page of Wands, is that you already took that step up in this process, which is really cool. Now, looking up in your spiritual realms, more of the divinity or the angelic, kind of your higher self calling. It's it's interesting the way these cards are placed. It's like all of this is a vision from the past, is what I'm seeing. So there was a vision you had of how you saw yourself in the world, and that you can create that now, is what I'm seeing. So in the recent past, you're coming out of issues of masculine and feminine balance and fairness. So this could have there's something to do with the creative dynamic, or kind of the sacred energy of the masculine and feminine, the negative and positive, and creation itself. So for some people, this could be issues regarding relationships, masculine and feminine relationships. For another group of people, it could be managing the mind or mental health, balancing of the hemispheres of, for our own mental health. For others, this can translate into creativity or the creative process itself, which takes, these are all the same thing. It's balancing masculine and feminine, negative and positive energies. And for some of you, it's going to be important to understand how paradox and how you resolve paradox. The way you resolve paradox is you recognize that every nature has two polarities. So if you're ever struggling to resolve something, you just look at it and you say, okay, well, I'm getting stuck on one polarity. I'm being too extreme in one level or another. And so there's something going on with balancing and generating the wisdom of balancing the creative process of whether it's through other people, through our creativity, through mental health, in our own minds and how we function. There's a lot of swords here and wands. So mental constructions, belief structures, that can also tie into religion. There's a balance coming into place. Something was out of balance is coming into balance. So just tune into that for yourself. In the material realms, in the subconscious realms, which lives within the muscular structure of the body, there's a memory of a time when youth was lost. There's a memory of a time when we felt that our faith was tested, that we didn't feel heard in our needs. So keep that in mind as you're processing emotionally through all this, or going through this process. A lot of times what happens is stuff comes up out of our subconscious, that the inspiration won't come. And I think that what I'm seeing here is that we don't need to worry about, we don't have to wait for something to come to us here. This is something that we've already seen, we've already developed. This is something that's very core to our soul, that we've already seen this vision. This is something now that, it's ready to move forward with. So someone's not going to bring it to you. It's something that's already inside of you. And you just need to kind of learn to bring it forward out into the world. Now, in the immediate future, we have, the time it takes to reflect, the time it takes to process, the time it takes to envision something, to really honor the creative process. We have to honor the amount of energy it takes to create something. We have to honor the amount of time it takes to create something. We have to honor the process of developing and refining a vision. We have to honor the process of learning how to articulate it. We have to honor the process of taking that articulation and applying it into multiple modes of communication. And in these days, that can be everything from websites to apps to written communications, print communications, face-to-face, print collateral, you name it, it's all there. So, what I'm seeing here is it's a time of meditation to really hone in on this. And I think this period is probably the 3-week period during Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde is not a time to start a new project yet. You have Mars in your sun sign, getting you all excited about ready to go. So the challenges that you're going to see here is that it's a time of reflection, and you have so much energy to utilize, and yet at the same time you can't just go run out and build a house. So this is the blueprint. This is the time to take to reflect and look at what it is you're developing. And I would just say exercise a damn lot, and wear your body down a little bit, really work it, so you have the serenity and peace that comes after a good workout to really focus and relax and get clear on what's going on here. So there's something that is already used, something from the past. It's already clear. Someone's not going to bring it to you. It's something within inside yourself. Take the next 3-week period during Mercury retrograde to refine it. Wear your body out so the monkey body doesn't get in the way of the process, or even worse, create problems for yourself and others. When your Mercury retrograde is done, the things that you might think that perceive things the way that a certain way during that time might totally change. So it's not a time to really invest in anything that you're going to stick with. Now, your attitude towards this situation, this is interesting, is that you don't think you have the tools to create this. That there's something like, I don't really have this, so I can kind of ignore that, this is how I like to really respond to this, And if you do that, you'll just continue to be in that same loop of not moving forward. Yet at the same time, you have something from your past, something that you've invested in, that is swelling up in you and that wants to be expressed. And you've already done a lot of the fancy footwork and legwork to get the beginning stages of it done. So why not utilize that? Let's not waste it, So it's thinking that you don't have the tools around you to create it. Now, the real truth is your environment is the Four of Wands, which is you have a total foundation. You have everything you need. So it must be something more than the practical means to accomplish it. You have the foundation around you to do it. So, and then under your hopes and fears, you've got the Hermit. So, it's like your greatest hopes and fears is this isolation, and feeling like you're not participating, yet you're not seeing that all the tools are there for you. So it's kind of this attitude thing that needs to be worked out, because sometimes we can hold on to attitudes because we go through something in the past. I mean, it's just super simple biological nature. We go through something, it works out a certain way, and then we just say that's the way it's always going to be. And it's simple as that. It's it's like, well, it's not going to work out, or I don't really have what I need, so, I don't need to, blah, blah, blah. Yet at the same time, deep inside of you, you're like totally scared that you're just going to be stagnant, and not move forward. So you have to make a choice. And the best way, it's just, to me, the analogy is really simple. Okay. Have you ever, some people are good at this, some people are not good at this. So if you're the kind of person that's not good at this is a good one. So, you have a messy house, a messy storage unit, you have a messy office, whatever it is. And I mean, like, boxes everywhere, clothes out, whatever. It's just freaking overwhelming, or maybe it's spring cleaning and it's time to do the garage or whatever it is. Or, you kind of neglected your car and it's just like the trunk's full of crap and you got shoes and socks and paper towels and blah, 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 and stuff to take here and stuff to take there. And you're just tired and it's overwhelming. The way to accomplish any big task is to just pick one tiny thing and, for me, the way it started was pick up 3 things. So I would be sitting around my house and I'd just be like, I want to shift some energy. It's too much. I can't really accomplish or tackle everything right now. It's just too much. And I would just get up and I would pick up 3 things and put it away. It's the easiest thing in the world. It can be one thing. But, it's like, oh, there's my hat. Okay, I'm going to walk my hat to my closet. I'm going to put it in the closet. And it's similar to years ago. I had a friend before, I work out a little bit now, but years ago I was just in front of the computer a lot working and feeling down. I knew I wanted to work out. It felt like it was too much. And I had a friend, he said, do 10 push-ups every day. And if you want to do more, do more. But he said, no matter what, don't miss your 10 push-ups a day. And I thought, well, that seems silly. I'm never going to get strong doing 10 push-ups. But you get strong by following that process, because I started doing 10 push-ups a day and then I wanted to do more. Some days I didn't want to do more. Some days I just did 10. I was just not into it, But some days I would do 20 or 30 or do 10 multiple times a day. So it's just acknowledging that you might be stuck in a loop of an energy pattern that is easy to break. You can break it with the most subtle energy. It's not something that's big and bad that you have to fight and say, I have to overcome this fear and I have to, It's not a big dragon. We create these big dragons in our mind. So, whatever this goal is, this something that you want to achieve, like literally, like say it's to make a website, like literally just go browse like website templates for 10 minutes. Just do it. Today, set the goal to just write down what your 5 main categories for the website are, whatever it is. So, it's just those little tiny things. And then what happens is the momentum starts picking up and you get wind behind your back and you see yourself moving forward. Set small goals and follow through. And you'll find yourself getting really excited to continue to move forward. So just do something tiny, real tiny. If you don't want to take a shower, wash your hands. If you don't want to exercise, then, do 1 push-up, but just do something. It could be the tiniest thing. So today, as we're talking right now, just pick something. Say, I'm going to do this. And make sure it's small. Make sure it's so small that it would be silly to not do. And then you can do anything. That's how you break walls. That's how you fly to other planets, man. This is how you revolutionize your life, is tiny, tiny, tiny and gentle. Really small little things. It's like water drops. Until you got the Grand Canyon. So just don't look at the bigger picture. Look at the tiny, tiny picture. The easy, tiny picture. But if there's no movement at all, then you're fucked. So just keep that in mind. Then your greatest fear is going to come true, and you're going to be isolated, and you'll never fulfill what it is that you wanted to fulfill. And you don't want that. So you are a tiny water drop. You're a tiny water drop. And then again, at the end, you have the Queen of Wands, which is this mastery of material creation, of beauty, this very feminine expression. So whatever this is that you're doing, you're getting, whether it's the physical manifestation of the feminine nature or something within yourself, this is softening you. This is creating a level of mastery in more of your feminine nature, whether you're a man or a woman. So, like me doing these videos, it's very much a Queen of Wands thing for me. I do graphic design and brand development, and product development as my career for years. And I was missing my heart. I was missing this, playing with my Pisces full moon and my psychic nature. And I just finally had to acknowledge it. I finally had to just be like, really be honest about my feminine nature, about my intuitive nature, and start to explore it, And a part of that is, not dressing up, not making fancy videos, not overdoing things and trying to be cool or what people like or anything, but just learn how to trust into my feeling state, instead of what I think, just how I feel. So I come into videos, I'm tired, I'm not exciting, whatever. It's like I'm just being who I am right now and how I feel, and that's getting in touch with my feminine nature, and whatever this is for you, I'm going to have a feeling this is responding to a deep inner voice, whatever this process is for you. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. This is Hangin with Libra. So this will be the process over the next so many months. But I would say that as far as the specific cycles, if you want to tie it in with astrology, is reflection, meditation, workout, designing, planning, refining up until the third week of November. Then this really beautiful energy comes in where you can really step it up and start taking action and really move forward. Get on your horse and take action. Avoid getting ahead of yourself. Always take everything one step slower than you're capable of. Then you'll keep your energy reserves and you'll avoid any conflict or any problem areas or even accidents. Third week of November till third week of December, that's the move forward period, but patiently and consistently. And then stay in touch with how you feel, not what you think, but how you feel through the process, and you'll always be guided. People don't want to do that because then they realize how shitty they feel, basically. But it's good because you got to feel like shit to know what to do to feel better. If you never acknowledge it, then you're not going to move forward. So, and then end of December we have the big eclipse. I think it trines Jupiter, which is a real beautiful, expansive energy for everyone. So I think it could be a really wonderful, beautiful thing. And then we move into the new year, and there's some big shifts going on. But just keep working on what your goals are here. You got really good energy moving your way, and don't let anybody get in the way of who you really are. So God bless to your creation. God bless you on your path of realizing your full identity, your full expression, and honoring your inner truth of who you are. The universe is blessing you with the tools and energy to do it. I hope to see you again soon. Much love to Librans. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.